So for key principles of interoperability, we have, of course, why we needed interoperability in the radio access network. No? Since yung mga monolithic deployment before was proprietary, yung mga protocols to specific vendor. If a feature, no, from another vendor is required for the deployment, for the most part, you cannot really do it and it's going to be too expensive. So they felt that out, no? Because they cannot afford to redo the entire radio access network just to have that specific feature. If they are tied up to a certain vendor. Hence, OpenRAM was created to modularize what we can, no? Like radios, hardware, and software, no? In a RAN. So another feature, of course, of OpenRAN is the RAN intelligent controller, which you could add programmability to the RAN. And the problem with monolithic deployments before is you technically do not own the equipment. May ganun, no? Parang you bought it, you deployed it, no? But for what it's worth, no, you are just licensing, no, yung equipment. Kasi if you need some modifications on it, chances are you don't have the capability to do it. You would contract, no, yung vendor na kung sino man yung nakuha niya sa RAN nyo. They would do it for a fee, they would deploy it and test it, no? And for the most part, it's black box even to our largest telcos here, no, in the Philippines, no? So the interoperability part somehow breaks that that monolithic deployment, where you could, again, purchase specific vendor that yung features niya yung need mo, no? And this would also allow you, no, to yung mga interfaces niya, no, allow you to be able to program or mix and match various vendors, no, for your specific feature requirement. So again, one of a few of the features, no, that interoperability is attempting to solve is we wanted to eliminate proprietary hardware and closed systems, no, which has been the standard for the past few decades. Where if you need to buy or deploy, no, a telco typically go before, no, with Nokia and Ericsson. At least that's the two main vendors here before, no? And some others, no? Then recently we got Huawei, no, competing on that field, no? But it's all their deployment before Open RAN would be one system, no? And it's end to end, they would own it. There are various things that you could carve a bit, no? But still, you are vendor lock-in for that specific big chunk of your infrastructure. Okay, and Open RAN interoperability basically breaks that apart. And with those components na is modular and you are now not tied up to a specific vendor, no? There are a lot of innovations in AI, machine learning, continuous integration, continuous deployment, software-defined networks, network function, and supply chain diversity, no? So in case something went wrong with a specific vendor, no, you are not tied up. You will not lose your service. No, you could get another vendor to supply that component for you. So this also makes it yung innovation, no, at every component of the network stack possible, and you could get the best of, both worlds, no? Best of all worlds on whatever a vendor is releasing in the market. No, you don't have to replace your entire stack. You could just maybe analyze it, and maybe if it's not proprietary and not patented, no, you might be able to implement it on your own. No? If may mga research that is publicly available, no, you could implement it on your own. Or maybe a third party, no, not necessarily yung vendor that you bought your equipment. So sample na to would be healthcare interoperability. So this is a story of how healthcare basically for the past 40 years of evolution nila, no? How they adapted, no, to technology and interoperability. So in the early years, no, they had fax, phone, or mail, no, to share patient record. And mail, na it's not email, no. Wala pang email at that time. Well, technically meron no 70s, no, but of course it was too expensive and not everyone's connected. So this is physical mail that they use, not the doctors use to share patient information. So it's very clunky, very slow to our standard, and confidentiality of patient record is not there. So it has to be readable if you have to fax it or read by phone. No, it's not encrypted. But it is somehow an interoperability kasi if you have a fax machine or a phone call back then, no, or even mail, no, as an address, um, it is a sort of communication, and if you know the format, no, on how to write a mail, nasaan yung source, address, nasa yung destination address, so typically like a protocol, you would be able to send and receive mails. Same with phone and fax. No? If you know the number and you have the equipment, you would be able to send and receive message. No? But that's about it. It's more of message transmission. Then health data, basically when computers and connectivity, no, was booming during 1980s and 2000s. Electronic health records, no, brought this digital interoperability where health data exchange becomes a priority. So we got health records now with formatted using XML and acceptable, no, fields. We also have encryption at that time. Well, not too much, no. Wala pa masyadong concept of data privacy during that time. But I mean there is, no, but hindi siya as pronounced as today, no. And then 2010 to until now, no. So it's been for the past maybe 15 years. Most healthcares would now need, no, computerized system connected to a central location, no, to gather patient records, insurance, and you're seeing this, no, in a hospital environment, even multiple departments now within a hospital, and they would have different branches too. They would be able to communicate and have your data, no, online, even on their systems. And we got some of this benefits, no, like if you do some tests, you would be able to receive it via email. I mean, of course, it's not technically interoperability, but it's a mode of delivering results, no. Unlike before, if you've been to a hospital maybe 15, 20 years in the past, no, so you're gonna have some tests. Either you wait 4 to 8 hours on-prem, which also increases your chance of getting infected with other hospital-borne diseases, no, or now just extract yung blood or kung ano man yung needs testing, and then you just wait at home, no, for the email to notify you that yeah, the result is out, no, and then you could go to the site, no, to download and have another doctor read your results. And even you could even bypass all that, no, pwedeng diretso sa doctor yung results, and yung diagnosis na kagad yung i-message sa'yo without you being needing to be physically present to wait for the results or coming back, no, which takes up more time. I mean, misakit ka na nga, pabalik-balik ka pa sa hospital. So that's sort of benefit that we had, no, when checking out how does interoperability actually benefit, no, certain how you call this, I lost for words, a certain vertical, no. So yeah, just an example, no. So for open and interoperability, no, even until 4G, no, and some 5G deployments, again, these are locked in vendor until Open RAN attempted, no, to break this noong 2019, no. So it was Open RAN started 2019. It has backings of a lot of industry, big industry players, no. And they want initially is, well, if we could break down OCU, ODU, and ORU, no, and have this proprietary interfaces not be present, and it's gonna be standardized, and anyone could create their own hardware and software and integrate with Open RAN. Then that's what we intended. That's what Open RAN intends to be able to come up with. So with multiple vendors, no, and systems at play, we needed a way to have testing, no? So you cannot test, of course, on production. Well, as they say, no, everyone has a testing environment. Others are just lucky that they have uh, a staging environment, and others are not lucky they test it pro. But of course, on a critical infrastructure that has needs to have minimal downtime, you can't do that. But of course, there's a cost for staging environment, no? And there are systems, no, that you could purchase or set up, no, or you could even have a parallel small scale version of your environment where you have emulators, and then or various components, no, and then you could fit in, no, yung specific product that you want to test, no, if it integrates well to your environment. And of course it's standard, no, but some of these products would still have features that they supposedly claim na sila lang meron, okay, and you want, diba, how does it perform on a load, no, or with on a load like our environment, and then with our components, no? So of course if you break down this pieces, no, in Open RAN, you'll probably have a mix of vendors na ikaw lang yung meron. And of course, better to have the setup of a test environment with same specs, same hardware, same vendor, no, and integrate on the testing yung product na gusto mong implement in your RAN. Uh, and yan, part of our requirement would be readings, no? So we would be dumping various reading materials. I think for this one we have three, no? And some short ano lang summary, no, yung required for the students to come up with that documentation. And it's gonna be part of course yung course requirement, no? So aside from reading, we have just a very short final exam. Kasi again, this is text heavy, not too technical, more descriptive siya. So we have, I think, 15-20 item na questions for the finals. But the rest would be just readings and assessments.